With a family to feed, with a priority of cooking from scratch wholesome meals, this kitchen doesn't really close often. Usually when we finish one meal, I'm already cooking on the next or a new baking recipe. With a kitchen flow like this, I heavily rely on meal planning, which I just shared in my last video. I'll leave it at the end screen for you in case you're interested in how I cook from scratch. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 4 meal ideas that you can use up ingredients in your house to make from scratch recipes for your family. Here you are seeing me put chicken in my Instant Pot. This is such an easy way to cook chicken, super fast, and it makes a beautifully shredded, soft chicken. One thing I've been really trying to be intentional about lately is using my kitchen tools to my benefit instead of just having them sit in my pantry, because they really do save me time and effort. This recipe only takes 10 minutes to cook it in the Instant Pot. Now, I was inspired by the chicken salad chick, and a couple years ago I went to a women's conference and they had catered to chicken salad chick, and I had ordered this chicken salad and it was absolutely delicious. I've made it many times since then, and I find it to be the best way is to cook it in the Instant Pot. It just takes very few ingredients. You can change so many things about it. Your base is basically going to just be chicken and mayonnaise, and then you can just add in whatever it is that you would like to add in. So here on my channel, I have shared quite a few times why we mill our own wheat right here at home, why it is so important and how it can be health changing for your family. Here I'm going to be making a pita bread. Pita bread is something that is so incredibly easy to make. It's very hands off. Like I said, I'm doing all of this even before our school time has even started. I am prepping all of these things. My kitchen tools are working for me. As you see, I am milling my own wheat as I am prepping all my liquids for the pita bread. This pita bread, all you have to do is just mix it all together. It's gonna rise for about an hour to an hour and a half. On this day, we had so much sun come in from our windows in our kitchen, so it was quite warm. So it rose rather quickly this time, but while that was rising, I went and I just homeschooled my kids, went through our whole homeschool rhythm. My chicken was already done by the time I was prepping my pita bread. This is why rhythms in your home matter so much, and finding those recipes that work for your family that, number one, are delicious, something they're actually going to eat, but also just the way that your whole entire house functions. I talked about how home rhythms in a previous video. I will also link that at the end of this video if you're interested, and in the description below. But the way that your house runs every single day is either going to give you time in the kitchen or it's going to take time away, because honestly, we all have the same 24-hour period. Now, our houses are going to function a little bit differently because maybe your husband has a different job than my husband does. He needs to leave the house. Meal prepping for your husband or not meal prepping for your husband. You know, it all depends on what your family goals are, and figuring that out and working these things in. To me, I feel like the number one thing is making it important, because if you don't see it as being something vitally important for your family, then it's just probably not going to get done. Do the research, educate yourself, look at the ingredients on the foods you're already buying, figure out what can you make from scratch, and just start small. One thing that might be important to me may not be as important for you and your family, and that's where the beauty of homemaking and cooking from scratch from your family can be such a wonderful thing, and why you're going to see such a wide opinion on so many things. Okay, so here you're going to see me using my food processor. You really don't need too many kitchen gadgets when it comes to making food from scratch. Some of them definitely make it easier on you, and honestly, over time, I have just purchased each item that I have needed or felt like would make my kitchen flow a lot better. But here I'm just going to shred this chicken up. I want it to be nice and creamy and just very well put together. I also had some celery in the fridge, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that up as well. I know for some people, baking can feel a little bit intimidating, but I promise you it is a skill that you just need to learn, and you get better at that skill the more you do it. These pita breads would be a really great thing to elevate your kitchen skills, but also so very basic but versatile. You can use this for breakfast, lunch, dinner. So many different things can be used in a pita bread, and you're gonna find out here in a minute. Do you stuff a pita bread, or do you just fold the pita bread over? Because you're about to see I stuffed my pita bread, but when I second guessed myself and then I started looking it up, I noticed that most pita bread sandwiches on Pinterest were just scooped on top and folded right over, and I was like, well, I either just did something very creative or I just completely did this wrong. So here you're going to see I'm using a kitchen scale. A kitchen scale is something that is vitally important when you are wanting to cook or bake from scratch, especially when you want consistency. So when you are weighing out your dough, this is going to cook more evenly, because you're not going to have dough that's going to be one be really big, one be really small, or maybe you need to weigh out like a cake batter to make sure that each cake is exactly the same height so that they're just not all wonky. That's one thing I think, if you are new to cooking from scratch, finding a scale and learning how to use it will definitely level up your cooking and baking skills. So essentially with pita bread, you're just going to have a yeast dough, and you are going to flatten out that dough. Now it's very important that we're not making it flat like a tortilla. We still want some thickness to it. I have made that mistake in the past when I very first ever did pita bread. It can still come out good, but it was very crunchy because of how thin it was. Versus if you want more of like a nice doughy texture, you're gonna wanna flatten them out nowhere near as much as a tortilla. What's really cool about a pita bread too is that I am just baking it here in the oven. I'm just gonna put it in for about 3-ish minutes, and then I'm going to flip them and cook them for about a minute just to get some brown and slightly cook the other side. So it is super quick. Really, the longest thing that happens with a pita bread is that dough needing to rise. My kids also thought that how funny it was that how much they just blow up in the oven. And in this recipe, I also just use my cast iron pizza pan. One thing we always have on hand here at our house is fresh produce. Usually a lot of fresh fruit. My kids love raspberries and blueberries and grapes. I'm not really picky about it being in season. Obviously, that'd be a lot better if it was in season, but I would much rather my kids eat that than something that's not as healthy. And it is, still a good fiber for your kids to have, and it is more of like a sweet treat. There's so many things you can do with it, like frozen yogurt bark, maybe just a little bit of honey on it. I feel like there's just so many things that you can do with that, and I'd much rather them have fruit than chips all the time with a sandwich. And this is what I was talking about with it being more of a little bit doughy on the inside and not too crunchy. And here is maybe my beautiful creation of stuffing pita bread. I'm genuinely curious, does anybody else stuff their pita bread, or are you putting it on top? I need to know. This was such a simple lunch, but also a really great dinner. Easy to whip up early in the day and be able to have it for dinner in the afternoons, or maybe you're just going to like a picnic this summer and you just need something super quick and easy. Okay, so our next meal is one of my very simple, easy meal ideas. My crock pot is something I try to use often because it's another one of those set it and forget it tools. And I know I have the security of knowing that most of my dinner is going to be cooked by the time dinner rolls around. These are the days where I know we're going to be out often. Here you're seeing me make a homemade-ish, I guess it should say, barbecue sauce. I'm just using our favorite ketchup that has very little ingredients, some black strap molasses, and a little bit of brown sugar. This is probably one of my family's favorite barbecue sauce. I think a while ago I just ran out of barbecue sauce and I was like, oh, like barbecue sauce is so easy to make, and I just whipped this up, and literally ever since then this is the only barbecue sauce that we use. You could do this with maybe a roast. We've done that before, and it just be like a barbecue shredded roast. Here I am just using chicken, so this is going to be a barbecue shredded chicken. Again, another one that just makes the chicken so beautifully shredded and soft and delicious. I set this probably at like 9 o'clock in the morning, put it on low, and then I'm going to let it sit till about 5:30. Another very easy thing that you can make with very little ingredients is coleslaw. If you look at ingredients of pre-made coleslaw, it'll definitely make you think, like, why do we need all of these gums and stabilizers? I mean, obviously it's prepackaged, so that's why. But if you just find a really good quality mayonnaise, maybe you can make it yourself. The reason why I don't make it myself is because I don't love the way that mayonnaise tastes with olive oil, and I have a child who is allergic to avocados, because I know a lot of people use avocado oil, and honestly sunflower oil is just so expensive, and I just don't really love using anything other than olive oil or butter. So that's why I buy this Sir Kensington mayonnaise. It's just very clean, very easy to make, and I'm just using some sour cream, a little bit of garlic granules, lemon juice, salt, pepper, and a little bit of sugar. One thing to make coleslaw so delicious is actually letting it sit for as long as possible. Again, another Azure item that I absolutely love is their French fries. These are just frozen cut potatoes. You can literally put anything on these potatoes because there's nothing on them. They are pretty big, but I love these potatoes. This is something I stock up on every single summer because they're great with burgers, any kind of side that you need French fries in, with such simple, easy ingredients. You know, cooking from scratch is something that you're just gonna learn to do over time, and you're gonna find these little bits and pieces of things that your family loves that you can do so much with. Here I am just putting some salt, pepper, garlic granules, onion powder. I usually will put some paprika in there, and sometimes I'll put butter, but I think today I used olive oil, and I will just set those in the oven, let them cook, and just turn them often. So we were having a barbecue chicken sandwich. This bun that you see me cutting, I actually made myself with my fresh milled flour for another meal, and we had a couple left over. I usually do like to add a little bit of barbecue sauce back into there because it's been cooking all day, absorbed all of that beautiful flavor. So I usually just add a little bit more onto there. Such a super simple, easy dinner idea that I can really just set it and forget it. Like, those are my golden dinners that I just love. It just gives me such peace of mind at the end of the day. So in this recipe, we are going to be making homemade tortillas with einkorn wheat berries, and we are going to be making a beef taco. One thing that just really feels like home to me is einkorn wheat. When I started my fresh milled flour journey, I started with einkorn because it's an ancient grain. I think it's one of the oldest grains that we know of. And what's interesting about it is that it's low in gluten structure, but very high in protein. Personally, I don't think that this wheat is really that great for yeast spreads because it has such a low gluten content. You would have to work it a lot, probably add quite a bit into it. I mean, if you don't mind a denser loaf, then that would be something really interesting for you to look into. I just never really loved it, but it's the one grain I always go for quick breads like tortillas, muffins, pancakes. I love the taste of it. It almost has like a nutty flavor to it. Homemade tortillas are something that you can make so quickly that it's just something you might have to do early in the morning and then let it rest, right? We need that gluten to really have time to rest so that we can just come back to it later and whip up these beautifully homemade tortillas. This is one thing my kids love so much to help with in the kitchen, and they just ask for it all the time. So I try to have them stocked as much as I can, but I always use an einkorn wheat for these. You could use a tortilla press here, but honestly, I don't have one. I just don't see the benefit of having it in my kitchen right now with all of the other tools that I have. So I just use a rolling pin, get them as thin as I like. Again, you don't want them to be too thin because they're just going to break. We do want to have a little bit of structure here, but again, tortillas, so super easy to make, and they have such little ingredients. I don't know about you, but the tortillas in my grocery store just have horrible ingredients. All of them have gums in it and so much more. So making your own at home can be such a nutritious, dense food to feed your family. One way I like to store these tortillas is just in a tea towel, and as they cool, I will probably move them to a plastic Ziploc bag, and they hold for quite a long time. Sometimes I do like to do a chicken taco, but I had some ground beef in the fridge that needed to be used up. So I'm gonna saute these onions here, add a little bit of olive oil to my rice. I love the way that it makes my rice taste. I love to have my rice that has an individual grain texture to it, and I feel like olive oil really gives that to me. One thing I would recommend is sauteing your onions, sweating them very, very well, and actually removing them and then cooking your beef. I truly feel like this preserves that beautiful sweet taste of onions that have been beautifully sweat to perfection, and right at the end is where I'm going to add in my fresh garlic. I tried to use as much fresh ingredients as I possibly can in all of our recipes and meals that we cook. Right now it is obviously winter time, so my garden is not coming out with much of anything. So finding a place that you feel like you can trust, whether that's your grocery store or Azure Standard, honestly, I just feel like has so much for us to pick through and still have those high quality organic ingredients, because we know that they're coming from farms, and reducing the time of being in a warehouse, sitting in your grocery store, waiting for you to pick it up. Azure has done a really great job at giving us foods at a high quality with less time being in transit from farm to your table. Some of the things I like to add onto our tacos are just some shredded cheddar cheese. I buy a 5-pound block of cheddar cheese off Azure, so it's something I always have stocked. If you look at the ingredients of just even pre-shredded cheese, it just blows my mind, the ingredients that they are putting in. Such simple ingredients. We love black olives. I'll put avocado just on mine, some lettuce, sour cream, and our cooked rice. So for our final meal of the video, we are going to be making a chicken pot pie. I think on this day our high was 25 degrees and our low was like 15. So it was absolutely freezing outside, and I woke up that morning, I was like, you know what, we have some leftover chicken from a whole chicken I had made a few days ago. What better day to make a chicken pot pie? This is one of my most favorite meals, and I feel like the reason why I love this meal so much, I will even make this in the summertime. Like, I'm just being honest. I think the reason why I love this recipe so much is this was one of the first recipes I made when I went from years of being gluten-free, finally adding fresh milled flour into my diet. Like I said, I've always used einkorn, bringing fresh milled flour into my diet, and I have this einkorn cookbook and it has a chicken pot pie recipe in it, and I would always make this recipe. I'm going to be honest, in this recipe, it does call for all-purpose einkorn flour, but obviously I only use fresh milled flour, so it does turn out a little bit different. It's not the most beautifully, aesthetically pleasing pie crust, but like I said, einkorn has this nutty, very, in my opinion, distinct flavor to it, so I still love making it. I probably could just strain off, the bran and the germ and make it into more of like an all-purpose flour, but in my opinion, what would be the point of that? The whole point of making fresh milled flour is to get all of those enzymes and all of the vitamins and minerals that fresh milled flour provides for our bodies. So I just keep it in, so just know it's not going to be very aesthetically pleasing, but it is so incredibly delicious and so worth it in my opinion. My kids love this meal. Everybody's always so happy when this comes out of the oven. As you saw, I chopped up some potatoes. My favorite are golden potatoes. I feel like they just cook rather quickly. I, back in the day, used to always use russet potatoes, but I love the way the golden potatoes are. I feel like they're very creamy, they're very nice. Yet again, you're seeing me sweat those onions, and I'm going to take them out again. This is such an easy recipe, but it does take a little bit of forethought before you are making this to make it go a lot smoother. I have noticed over the years, the recipes I always come back to are the recipes I have obviously memorized. These are things that I can just do, or maybe it's a recipe that I have changed some things to and I'm just working off memory. These recipes are so great for busy moms because all I have to do is just get in that mode, in that groove of cooking, and everything just flows. One thing I want to know is, so many people have asked, what can you use fresh milled flour for? And here you see I'm making kind of like a roux. I like to warm up those veggies before I put them into the pie. When I say I use fresh milled flour for everything, I mean I use it literally for everything. I don't even own white flour in my pantry, so anything that calls for flour, that is what I'm reaching for time and time again. Now here in this recipe, I did use a soft white wheat. You could still use einkorn, but I just felt like doing something a little bit different because I did use the einkorn in the pie crust. So here you're going to see me just mixing up some homemade chicken bone broth, and once I've added as much as I want, then I will just continue to add water to thin it out to my desired consistency. One thing I will say is, on this day, I don't know what I was thinking, but I completely forgot to add some milk or cream into that sauce, so don't forget that step. It was still delicious, but it definitely gives that beautiful creamy texture to it. I feel like the potatoes just add some more heaviness to this meal. It just brings that beautiful texture to the meal. I don't really often see cubed boiled potatoes in a chicken pot pie, but it can just really beef up that meal. And I just love the way that it soaks up all of those flavors, especially overnight for leftovers. If you even have any leftover, should I say. And of course, whenever you're baking a pie, do not forget your vent holes. Well, friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen. I hope you feel inspired, maybe even educated, giving you those kitchen confidence as a mama who wants to just feed their family from scratch. I hope you will hit subscribe and let me know in the comments down below what is your favorite meal or what is the meal that you might try from this video. I hope I will catch you in the next video.